welcome back to the Danish-British derby, and of course, the Danes. They are up 1-0, and we're gonna have to see if Mirage can be the map where the Brits bring it back. The number one British believer, Tom Biss, is with me right now. How are the chances looking, Tom?
I may still be considered delusional by many, and even myself, but I still believe. I still believe. They've already proven once that they've done this in this tournament. I think we agreed going into the veto that, well, sure, there's opportunities for both teams on either map, but realistically, and like we've seen them play Mirage before, and Endpoint can win this, especially if they get rolling. They've also had the mental fortitude to bring things back, but that might not have been the start they were looking for. Down already with that first pick. He was phenomenal in the first map with Barup alongside him, and not really a weak link within the Heroic roster. If they start off with the same gusto, I do think that Endpoint are going to be in some real trouble.
Barup and the boys. Well, it's technically the boys and then Barup on each different side of the map. It's going to be a B play from Nico here with the bomb and Barup on the flank. And you have Cadian in the middle with the lurk as well. Let's wait and see how they play this one out. There's still a minute to go. They can still decide to go back. They can still change the plan.
Barup's fake is going very well. He already gets 2 kills, and I wonder if they might actually decide to switch things up. This fake has been a lot better than they may have ever expected, and after a kill comes up for Mighty Max, they're still going to try and push the issue. It doesn't matter, though, as Cadian's found the pick, and Thomas, who is still trying his best to defend on this A side of the map, has realized he is, well, almost all alone. Barup is hungry for frags. Now, in a 1 versus 4, you can't really blame him. The kit, smoke, and Kevlar being saved by Thomas would be something into the next round. He's even going to get 1 for his troubles as well.
One thing we have to remember as well is that on this map, the CT side is actually exactly where Endpoint prefers, and I think one of the analysts touched upon it as well in the break here, that Crucial is going to have that CT op. He can really show his stuff, but if they fail to get a lead here in the first half on the CT side Endpoint, it's going to look very bleak for them, because they only win 44.81% of the rounds on the T side on this map, while Heroic on the other side is almost 50-50. I think it's actually a slight advantage with a 0.5% to the T side. So they have to get it going, Endpoint. They have to get something done, and I would expect them to at least try to win the half here. Like an 8-7 would be still tough, but they need to get that going.
Well, yeah, I think the worry as well is going into that second half. You've got that double AWP setup, which looked pretty menacing in the matches we've seen so far. Like, Stown picking up the secondary has been a real issue for teams to deal with. And actually, this was one of the maps where Cadian just went ham and just absolutely obliterated everybody. And that's a scary prospect, because so far we haven't seen anybody on the other side really able to step up. I want to see more from Thomas. I think he has the ability. We just haven't been able to see much of it. Again, though, it's going to be Mighty Max as that lone defender. Robin does at least drop a rifle, so that's something that he could go to retrieve, and it does seem like Nico might already be searching to try and deny that if they do go rotating in. But by the looks of it, Endpoint not really going to risk too much. They'll have the AK and the upgraded pistols into the next round. Still got the majority of the utility. It's not awful, but it still gives a lot of money over to Heroic.
Yeah, this is not a good scenario. This is not something that Endpoint hoped for, but this is a fine result for the round. They bring in an AK, they have full head armor, they have Thomas on the UMP, and they have a few smokes left. Like, this is not going to be a bad technically eco they're going to run into. They could even, if they wanted to go super crazy, buy a couple of scouts and get something going, almost like a full buy here. But I expect them to make a full eco in the sense of now of not purchasing anything more, just saving the money, getting a full buy in the next round, but still having a chance here with 2 weapons and some deagles.
Yeah, especially with Robin on a rifle as well. I feel like he's been someone for the team that has been very good at winning the rounds that they desperately need. And well, I think, as you mentioned, getting off to a strong start on this map could be the turnaround, because that's the problem. They had a very good comeback in the last game versus Mad Lions.
Yeah.
Doing that once is one thing. Doing that consistently is something very different indeed. And
possible.
It's not something I'm going to be betting on, but at the same time, they can somehow steal this round away. That could be the wind in their sails.
Yeah, they need some confidence as well. It can be so hard as a Counter-Strike player on the top level to kind of get your groove in a game, and you kind of need those kind of rounds I was talking about in the last map. You need that 1v3. You need that one where everything just flows perfectly. You need a teammate to step up, and then he starts to believe in himself, and you start believing in him, and then follow with your own self-belief. So you kind of need something. You need that ignition to get the fire started, and they haven't gotten that yet. Endpoint.
3 players making their way into the connection.
Oh,
Smoke over the top. The flash is perfect as well, and that rifle's gone within seconds of this round. The A site firmly under the control, and they're starting to spam smokes, just expecting there to be more here. Nice shot from Surreal. He was already tagged. Retrieving that rifle might be a little bit more difficult than he'd expect, though, as Nico's round the edge and just going to look over the top of the smoke. Thomas, the only one really anywhere near the action. It seems like his plan is to just try and catch someone as they rotate through. He's going to hear Stown, and actually he does win that duel. Chances of winning the round slim to none, but a nice shot from Mighty Max, and they do technically still have a kit available to them, so they could risk this, but by the looks of it, they're just going to hold on to the guns.
Yeah, even though the round doesn't really end off that well, let's see if Nico can actually deny some of these AKs. He's holding the angle. Spots one, and actually, yep, this is a perfect into the round for Endpoint here, despite them not winning it. But one thing I would love to say is that when you guys get done watching this game, if you play CS on a regularly competitive level, go download the demo of this heroic execute and try to replicate that in your own team, because that was such a clean execute. The flashbang timing towards jungle was good. The smokes were good. Everything execution-wise and timing-wise was so good from heroic. That's definitely one of those strategies that you can try and implement if you're playing on an okay competitive level. You don't have to be the same level as these guys to kind of implement that strat in your strat book. But it's definitely a nice shout. I really like that from Heroic. Not the best of endings to the round, of course, but the strat itself and the execute was really on point.
2 AKs saved. I was going to say combined with 2 orbs, but well, before I can even finish the sentence, Cadian's got that opener, and instead he is a force on this map. Robin almost trades back for 2. At least getting almost a 1.5. I guess you could say. The problem is it's left onto Surreal, and that's such a risky play. Doesn't know how much control has actually been lost, and with no real support, tries to take the aggressive peek instead. This round is looking over, but they don't have the bomb, and Max might be about to find it. Yeah, he's on it right now. I wonder if someone's actually spotted that on the map. He's definitely walked over it. I think the realization should have been had.
He knows this, and he's playing off it because he knows they can. He knows they can come from T spawn, so he's just gonna rotate away, try and see if he can play the time, deny the B play, have Thomas be in CT spawn. So if he hears smokes, if he hears flashbangs, and then he can rotate in. Heroic, they're not gonna be like in a super tough scenario with time, but they're gonna have to go for this A plant right now.
They've given up the site though. I'm quite surprised at that. I get that they go as a unit, but they have given Thomas enough space to actually get back in, and now that's the smoke. Cadian's going to have to run through it. This really is possible, but he goes down. And with 10 seconds left, they are going to be able to make that cross to the site and get it down. That was a worrying scenario that really wasn't necessary from Heroic. Maybe trying to wake Risk up a little bit, put him on the edge of his seat. It's been a fairly calm beginning to the stream for him, but that could have very easily gone wrong if Thomas manages to get one more kill.
This is one of the things as well that we talk about, like, he's been a player who's been on the up and up for a while, but he has had some troubles with kind of like performing when it gets really tough, when you're kind of down and out, or if you have a really, really tough situation. In this round here, there's a lot of pressure, actually. If he doesn't get that frag, the round opens up completely. And Borb is under a lot of pressure to get it. Casually just walks in, one-taps it. Very nicely done. Once again, we talk about a player who can sometimes has a tendency to disappear when the going gets rough, when the times are tough, and when you face an opponent or a situation that seems really, really rough. So nicely done by Borb. Very important for his self-confidence that he kind of gets it going here.
We are still going to see an investment here for the side of Endpoint. A fast play into the site. It's a bit of a whiff, but actually Crucial's managed to get 2 for 1. Already Robin with another himself and leaving it all on Cadian. 1 versus 3, a much better round already as a fast attempt was thrown in by Heroic. Cadian can't quite find anything and slowly being surrounded. It will be Surreal to close things out. So Endpoint onto the board a little bit earlier and a relatively strong round from them. Of course, a bit of a whiff initially, but this, well, couldn't have gone any better.
Strong round from the 2 internationals on the team, the Swede and the Dutchman. Very nice play coming up from both those guys. I have to especially highlight Robin and the timing that he goes into the bomb site. Yes, of course, a double kill with the AWP is always nice, but Robin's timing play is what makes it for me. Now they have a double up on the city side. Real has also picked one up. Ooh. Crucial through the smoke.
Man, nice timing shot.
Yeah, Molotovs will be coming in now, but it's not towards the window. They expect him to be gone. They want to focus on Robin instead.
This round is somewhat on the brink in terms of economy. Down already down to a Deagle, and utility, considering how early into the round this is, has almost been expended. A single smoke. They've retrieved another Molotov off one of their dead teammates, but ultimately there really isn't enough here for Heroic to go for a proper take. They're going to need someone to make a mistake, and in fact, they're rotating this bomb back towards the B site. Timing could be everything here, as we are going to see Max just falling back away from his own spokes. Down has been handed an AK-47 and, well, spots out his opponent, but nothing comes of it.
All right, this is actually looking quite interesting for Endpoint, to be honest. They have a stack towards the B side, yes. It's only if Heroic do a really, really quick rotation and execute towards A with the nice flashbang we saw earlier towards jungle that they'll actually get a chance of getting into this bomb site. But let's see here. I think Endpoint has a big chance and Crucial. Once again, he should have had that frag. I was absolutely sure he had that frag. But Borup and Nico both getting one. So Real and Mighty Max answering back. Thomas on the B side, but the bomb is rotating towards A. And it's going to be all on Surreal with the AWP.
He's had some awkward moments so far in this match, but he's got some help this time. It's left all onto Nico, and he doesn't have the time. Thomas steps up to close out the round. And Endpoint this time off to a much better start. 4-2, money now gone. And this is a chance for them to build.
Yeah, and once again, we can't hear the communication of the players, obviously, but we can kind of see in the way they play there that Thomas is making a call. Just hide CT, don't take a chance. I got them. If I die, then maybe you can step out and try and clutch the round. Because they don't want to run the risk when the round is already won, when Thomas has it locked down, that you also lose an AWP because of the money we see right now on Endpoint side. So nicely communicated, I can only assume, by Thomas and Crucial towards CT. They take another timeout just to make sure that everything is on point. They got the money now. They got some self-confidence going. They got Heroic on an eco. It's looking perfect for Endpoint. This is what they wanted. Now they have to focus on keeping it going, keeping the momentum up.
I think the other thing as well in that scenario is that with Thomas fighting them from short, as long as we see Surreal stay alive, there's no safe plant. Like, there's nowhere they can actually put the bomb where Thomas can't deny them and the other rotator can't get there in time. So it just makes sure that the round has very little chance unless Heroic do something incredible. And that's what we're, the same thing here, really. A single Deagle on Cadian, single flashbang for Testes. Well, already a man disadvantage. They're trying to sneak out. Like, Cadian's managed to get quite far forward, seemingly without Surreal actually upping him, okay. And that's a free kill. Robin will trade, but again, it's about building cash and, well, Crucial, making sure the cross is covered. 4-3, one man lost. Are they going to save the second? Oh, they will. It's not really the end of the world.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all. This round, though, coming in, is going to decide a lot because we do see a bank starting to build over at Endpoint. If they get this one to go as well, force Heroic on another eco, they're going to have a very, very strong bank for almost the remaining part of this first half. So Heroic, yes, they have 4 rounds, but if they lose this one, they're going to at least give a great chance for Endpoint to win this half. At least get 8 rounds. Crucial, not shooting through the smoke in middle. Will allow Cadian into his position and Robin aggressively into the apartments, and that's the right choice. Takes down Nico. And it's down now, wondering what's the next play here. What are we gonna do? We're gonna recapture the bomb, but probably not gonna go in towards that A bomb site.
Yeah, we've actually seen a change as well. Robin being a little bit more aggressive and picking up the AWP. And as said, I feel like so far Surreal's had a bit of a rough time with that secondary AWP. So I quite like the change. It might have just been off spawn and off the beginning of the round, but it hasn't switched back over. The window boost.
All right.
It's going to come into play. You can see Thomas just holding on the outskirts of the murder hole. Surreal starting to get a little bit more aggressive, and he spotted out Down, holds the line. There's still a second player, but he's going to be able to escape and still has utility to deny them further. Now, the connector has been pushed. Doesn't have a whole lot of support. The nice kill from Cadian, but he's been tagged desperately low. Barup, however, has caught one more. The thing is, do they expect Robin still to be here? He got a kill initially, and he still sat at the back of this site just waiting to try and deny the plant. I think he has been spotted as Down just shoots a couple of bullets off in that direction, but the wall bang will come in, and that's 16 seconds left on the clock. Barup trying his best to clutch this, and he finds the first kill. The problem is there a safe place to plant the bomb? And there is. He'll go back to default.
There's a Molotov and Crucial as well, so let's wait and see if he'll have time to put that one down. If he can eliminate one of these 3 spots, actually it's technically one of 2, but let's wait and see. Molotov down towards the back corner. Crucial. He's just walking in. He doesn't care. He's not going to use that utility. Interesting.
Want to give away his position.
Yeah.
I don't think Barup has any idea. And it's just the no-scope, the shotgun AWP used by Crucial. It was definitely risky, but I do quite like it. I think he managed to thread the needle well enough.
It's a gamble.
There was no way Barup could know.
And you're absolutely right, because you give your position away, but you also eliminate the positions that the remaining T player can be in. And you kind of know he's planted on the left side towards default because you have the cross angle. So he can either be on the back position as he was, close to the boxes, or maybe even towards like shade or even towards apartments. I wouldn't in this situation with that plan want to go ramp. So yeah, it's an interesting choice, but he makes it work. I can't criticize that at all when he comes in with such a nice no scope.
That one's definitely the closest round I think we've had, and just about scraping it over the line. A good start as well from, I think, the players that I think matter most in a sense, like Robin playing well. As said, he's a lot of the time the person that comes up with decent clutches, but also Thomas. Like, I think he's the person that can frag out the most on this team if he gets the momentum. The problem is, in some of the maps we've witnessed in this tournament, he has definitely gone missing. Like, I remember, in fact, this map when they played up against Big was a real weakness for him. Surreal, back on the AWP.
Yeah, once again, nice flashes from the T side here. Borg is trying to take the duel here. Actually, we might now. He didn't seem spotted in the smoke, so Surreal will be allowed to make a rotation in towards the window. I was sure that Bo was going to spot him, but he's far up in the connector now. The bomb is still towards B, so the play is probably for Borb once again to sell the fake after some initial presence towards B. Then Borb sells the fake towards A, and then they go for B execute. But I'm not sure that this is working out. Maybe Borb is just lurking because they have definitely been spotted B, and this is the perfect setup for the CTs.
Ooh, this is a risky peek though from Surreal. They don't expect the second player in the corner though. Mighty Max is just about going to be able to escape, but in fact he gets the second before he drops. And 3 versus 3. Thomas now is actually going to rotate back into the truck, but Barup again looks for the opener on A. Instead, it's denied this time. Will they expect Thomas to be so close? I think that's the one worry I have for Heroic is he kind of snuck his way into this position. They're still watching over towards bench in case anybody has made their way through that angle. A rotation also coming in from Nico. Is he going to try and sell a fake again on A?
Maybe it's just the backstab to get into murder hole. Or he could actually do the jump. Nah, the position towards ladder room is actually not shot. And Cadian, he'll get a frag. They're going to get into the back of Crucial, but he has to plant the bomb. Cadian now, 1v2. Crucial very close by. He's heard the footsteps, trying to bait out the shot, but Crucial does not care. Plays the 1v1 correctly. Robin is not even needed for this one.
But that was the one thing I was about to say. I was like, he's giving Cadian the 1v1. Yeah. He's giving him it, but I respect the fact. I think Crucial's one of those players, though, where confidence is everything.
Yeah.
Like, if he's feeling it, like, I want him to go in for those sort of battles because most of the time he'll win them, especially after turning around and wrecking a guy who's flanking you. At the same time, if you're a fan of Counter-Strike, you want him to play that in a 2 versus 1, where it's just that little bit safer.
Yeah.
Makes it work either way. And that's 2 rounds in a row now that he's clutched out for his team. Look at this, though, from Heroic. Very fast play into the Palace. It's already Robin going down in the back. And again, Surreal's just not having a good day so far. Looking for the picks. He does tag Barup, and the nade might just finish the job. So he's kept things even for now, giving his team a good chance in this retake. However, an afterplant again, and well, we've seen some pretty solid afterplants from Heroic.
Yeah, this is planted for short, so be careful about the position towards jungle. Be careful about the connector position. Kaden is actually holding towards CT, and this is not looking good for Endpoint. They're already looking to save, and Mighty Max will be allowed to retrieve an AWP and go ahead and save that, because on the other side of Heroic, they want to bring 4 weapons into the next round. I don't feel like they should be hunting right now.
If they do get rid of this gun, though, Endpoint will have next to nothing. Like, you've got Crucial with the money, but the loss bonus.
It's always hard to know. It's always hard to know exactly where your opponent is. You can be very close, but in this situation, for Heroic, I would imagine that Hunden is just telling those guys to, okay, focus on our own thing. That's what we know. We know if we can build this economy on the T side, we can have money for the rest of the half. And I think that is the choice to be made here and now. You could almost see it in the movement of Tessus there. He was going towards the murder hole, but then he decided, nah, I'm not going to go for this. We're going to stay forward.
Oh, Crucial. Going to make the jump, but he's pushed this. There's players waiting on the other side. Desperately looking for this trade, but Crucial gets away with 2. That confidence coming through once again. Surreal traded the entry that came out from Barup, who has been able to get quite a lot done on this A site lurk. Wow. Crucial just looking to pummel them this time, leaving Nico remaining. Money, well, you mentioned the fact that they saved so many weapons. It's a good thing they did, because that round was over in a flash.
That round was a great example of how important confidence is for an AWP player, especially on a Mirage, where you can, if you get the correct spawn, walk up mid, take those duels, and he's not winning the round based off of those 2 frags, but it is definitely helping them get started, and he can also finish it off with the last one from that connector angle. So very nicely done. Full confidence. I think Endpoint are feeling it right now. They're forced Heroic to take their second timeout. Double up setup still rolling. Yes, they don't have a crazy amount of money, but still a decent amount of money for Endpoint here. And Heroic, as you said, they're spending all their cash to get a buy going in this one.
Did Robin drop an M4 when he didn't have enough for armor? Because he says he spent 3,100. That seems like a bit of a misplay, especially when you've got 3 other players who can purchase.
You're right. That seems weird.
We'll see if that comes back to bite them, of course. A lot of the time with an AWP, if you hit your shot, it doesn't really matter too much anyway, but it still makes me a little bit more uncomfortable in the current situation that they have. Surreal, he's going to fight versus Barup, and over the last few rounds, we have started to see Barup either get away with a kill or just get shut down. Like, these individual fights were working very well in the early rounds. They've started to be almost a little bit of a burden for Heroic at this point.
Surreal just giving up the mid or giving up the connector because he knows he has a teammate in Crucial holding it. Damage onto Kaden as well. This is 3v5. I think Endpoint are going to get down to 7 here, and they might also get the half. I think 8 rounds is definitely not out of the question. I think that's very possible. Nice play from Robin. Crucial is surely going to get this one as well. That's gonna be the round number 7. Actually, it's the real skills to the way, but the round still stays the same. So now Heroic have decisions to make. They have enough money to get a Tech 9 utility buy, and then a full buy in this next round. And then potentially, if they win that, continue the buy. But I'm pretty certain that unless they mess up right now, Endpoint, they have money enough for the rest of this half. So that's a great scenario for them. 6k, 5-7, 6k, 5k. Yeah, they have enough money for the rest of this half. So that's a good scenario for them. Deagles, not Tech 9.
It's been a rough half as well for Stown. And I'm surprised to be saying that. He was so good in the first one. He's gone missing a little bit here. That was almost a 2-for-1 for Crucial. He has been unreal. Here is down, and okay, maybe I take it back. I mentioned his name, and he comes up big with the Deagle. Robin being spammed as well. You spoke about potential mistakes. This might be the slip-up, as the Deags have done so much already. Surreal, with his AWP in hand, is going to throw the Incendiary to try and deny them the push into the connector, but they've already got all the way past.
Yeah, he's buying time for Mighty Max. Nice play, but will it be enough? Oh! Down once more. Once more. When you doubt him, he steps up.
Yeah, can I take that back? I'm really sorry, Endpoint. I'm taking the L on this round.
Unfortunate. The timing is so unfortunate for Max. He might still get a free one onto Down. No, he just turns around. But he will get the frag onto Nico. Knows that Down is somewhere near the jungle. Taps the bomb. Sticks on it. Down will face out and take the duel. No, oh! He messed up. Oh, almost messed it up. But he will make it in the end. And yeah, almost doubles his ADR in one round. What a play from Down.
Well, he just got more kills in one round, or double the kills in one round that he had in the rest of the match.
Yep.
And I really regret, as someone really rooting for Endpoint here, I really regret.
I'm just gonna say one thing, Tom. Jinxes don't exist, and something as a caster cursing a player or a team that doesn't exist either. So you're free in my book.
Okay. Well, I'm sure in a lot of other people's books, I am not. But either way, Cadian, he's won that duel versus Crucial, something we haven't seen too much within this first half. And of course, that round leaves the money of Endpoint in an interesting situation for the final. We could be seeing this half slipping away, especially as the confidence of this young man here has seemingly gone through the roof. As he just wrecks the players on the B site. It's completely open for business. Cadian continues with the AWP and now leaves the real. 1 versus 5. This is a save if ever I've seen one, although he does seem to be getting a little bit curious into mid.
Yeah, this is actually an interesting choice, but I guess he knows that Heroic, with the money that they have, they're going to be hunting anyways, and they are fine with sacrificing 2 players, or maybe even 3 players to get his AWP. So he's kind of taking the weird route, because he knows they're going to be hunting all over the map, which I kind of like it. It's kind of reverse psychology in a way.
Trying his best to hide in the place they'll never expect.
Oh, but Cadian is...
Somehow that, yeah, Cadian...
The Bloodhound.
It's...
After time as well? It doesn't matter because he's TT, but still.
Oh, he gets away with it. He gets away with it just about. And my cheeks were as clenched as they could have been. But he does get away with it, and that gives them something here. They're going to hand it over to Crucial. Surreal will take the hit and drop some extra pistols over. This is not the way we wanted to see Endpoint buying into.
I feel like Endpoint, they need this round. They need an 8-7 to keep this going and to keep confidence up for the T side, which is, once again, not their favorite side on this map.
Oh, we're seeing some aggression here. Stam is waiting on the other side. They're just going to drive peek it, and a trade's not bad, actually. Robin comes up with 2. The Swedish Deeg looking strong. He's going to have the bomb Crucial to support him here. And as you said, yeah, they've got the bomb under their control. The wraparound from Kesses. There's the first, but that is clinical from Crucial. This AWP has been sublime. And well, here's the other one. Cadian left 1 now versus 2. Definitely still possible for the in-game leader, but it's a big ask.
They're gonna play it together now and just hold angles and potentially even refrag. So this should be impossible for Cadian to win. He's gonna have to land an insane first shot and then the reaction on the secondary shot where he will be pushed instantly. It's nearly impossible. Also with smokes, molotovs, nades, and flashes still remaining on the CT side, like this is... I know he has the weapon and he's a good player, but he's not going to win this. There's absolutely no way.
35 seconds left.
Yeah, that's working out is that they're actually using the best of the utility early on. So he can wait for the smoke to dissipate and still go in for an opening.
Oh, here's the flash. Hoping to maybe steal it, but you're right. It is going to be the 8-7 half in favor of Endpoint. In the lead for now, as they need this map to survive in the tournament. We'll be back after a short break.
Endpoint are looking much better on Mirage, and this could be a very, very good game on our hands. It's 8-7, slight lead for Endpoint going into the second half. Onto the T side. We don't expect fireworks from Endpoint, but we do expect them to at least bring this one to a close series. So let's see who's going to take it. Heroic on CT now, Endpoint on T.
Yeah, we've had a few rough performances. We saw Stown come back from what was a pretty bleak half, but Testis and Nico still haven't quite shown up in the same way they did in the first map. They got a decent stack on this A site though. 3 players ready and waiting. Robin going to utilize that smoke to try and gain control. Cadian actually attempts something pretty damn risky through the edge of the smoke, and it is going to hand the opener away. Nico will spot his opponent up upon the stairs. And Thomas, timing couldn't be better as he sneaks out of the palace. It leaves just 3 players remaining.
Yeah, it's gone B. The bomb is gone B.
Yeah, they've managed to take full B control. This is the bait and switch. The old bamboozle. And Surreal, well, he may have just given the game away a little bit as now the bomb goes back into middle. This is getting very confusing, Risk. I've lost the plot.
Yeah, they're going to plant B. Don't worry about it, Tom. They have 2 players in towards the murder hole area, so it's a weird way for the T's to play this, but it's going to be interesting nonetheless. The CTs in this scenario, they have so much utility that I would actually like to see them save. In a 3v5, I know it's kind of weird, but this, I feel like it's the best choice for them right now.
Yeah, I think they've already committed to it because at this point, they definitely know because Barup has been on the A site for the last 20 seconds or so. So they are attempting to save what they've got. And while the T's are looking to make things as costly as possible, remove all of that utility, get rid of that kit. Don't want any surprises going into the next round. And obviously for the T side, they're going to be able to buy up anyway. 2 of them don't have any armor, so it's not like they can even just have the cheaper upgrade. And Robin's even going to be there to close things out. He'll get his 15th kill of the match. And Endpoint, well, they extend their lead.
Robin and Crucial are playing very well so far in this Mirage game. You have to put it down to those 2 guys, the 2 internationals of the team, to kind of take it in their reins. But the rest of the team is coming, Tom. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. They're
British now. I've told you this before. We absorb anybody. We'll get them one. If they win, we'll get them one. Not that it's that valuable anymore, but
well, you're not wrong.
It looks pretty.
Honorary Brit.
Yes, of course.
So for now, on the CT side, it's going to be once again Deagles and a Scout. Not the best of buys, but also not a buy that you should underestimate. We have seen teams, especially big, do crazy things with this buy.
Especially with how many rifles are currently in play for Endpoint, it does leave them a little bit weaker on utility, and they're not bad.
They're walking into the stack. They're walking into the stack.
They're walking into a hell of a lot of players. Is Max going to check the close angle? It seems like Crucial's done it instead, and man, they've done pretty well. There's a lot of players here. However, Barup could be the spanner in the works. However, he will fall, and so will Stown. They may have walked into the stack, but they've obliterated it, leaving just Cadian, but 2 players tagged already. A single bullet will do the trick. However, he may want to just bring this tag machine into the next round.
Endpoint getting on double digits now. This is getting interesting. And as you said, Cadian will be the one to save the Scout, and it's going to be a full eco around it to buy up in the next round. So Endpoint also going to potentially get on 11 almost for free. And then the pressure's on Heroic.
Yeah, of course, this next round, I would actually quite like to see them do that mid-window stack. Like with the Scout behind them and just have all the USPs as like the backup fire. I'm a big fan of that strand. It doesn't get used too often because either you have like a round where it's a bit of a blowout and it's just over and done with, but there's still the opportunity to at least do some damage. And it seems like only one man going to be there as there's other ideas.
Gonna get the beast.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'll be interested to see how the Scout is utilized. Maybe almost as just a bit of bait. Okay, I'll peek in, try and be a bit more aggressive, and then try and get them to push into the site. But to be honest, Endpoint did so well in the last round already. I'd feel pretty confident in this.
they should just walk one player up towards the A bomb site, just see if there's anything there. Because it was a stack last time around, and this is a Nico as well. Bob wants to play dirty. Boost Cadian up on the corner and then have... Oh, wow. Great nade set combination. Look at the low HP. 4 HP, 1 HP, 35.
I'll be honest. I when I was looking at the scoreboard, I genuinely thought that there was only 4 people alive because I didn't realize that Nico still had a slither of health.
Yeah.
They're definitely a little bit lucky to be alive in this situation, but this round is already over. This just comes down to the stats being padded a little bit. A lot of low players. I don't think Mighty Max is going to be gaining too much.
Oh, wow.
ADR and Surreal. He really wants to. Now, this is UK Counter-Strike. Had those eco stats.
The round is over.
Would be proud.
It doesn't matter anymore, but they still count. And Cadian doesn't even need the scout as well, so he's just holding an angle, waiting for someone to peek into him. The tag, not the kill. And then that player is just gonna go back, make sure that his weapon is saved. And yeah, Crucial has that one on lockdown. So now the buy comes in, and this is where it becomes really interesting, because if Endpoint can get this one as well, Heroic are going to be on an eco again. Endpoint are going to be on 12, get 13 for free. It's going to be incredibly hard for Heroic to come back. So I would say this is one of the swing rounds. If Endpoint can get this one, they have a very good chance of winning this map.
Well, yeah, especially with the amount of money they still have in reserve. Like, This isn't even the be-all and end-all for Endpoint. This is almost a bonus and see you later, Cadian. The Galil's still going to have that one-shot capability. And, well, I'm sure a free AWP is something that Endpoint can only dream of in the early stages of this round. They're going to have 4 members gathered up towards this A site. The rotation will come in, though, because look how aggressive Stown has been. He's found all the info. The problem is they're losing personnel. Surreal has already managed to find a second kill. He'll go in as bait. They now know Nico's here, and he almost gets away with one more. However, he does eventually fall. This flank is everything, though.
Yeah, this is absolutely everything for Heroic. Stown needs to get 2 kills here. He can't deny the bomb plant. Sees the first player, and now it's going to be very, very tough for him. He gets the 1, and that's it. In that situation, when you're in a 2v4, you have to kind of pump the brakes a little bit, because there's just no way you're gonna win the round if you just get 1. You have to go in, call the information, maybe get a double, potentially information to get third frag as well, but it doesn't happen this time around, Tom. Endpoint, they're gonna be on 12. They're gonna get 13 as well. I think this is looking nice for UK.
Yeah, I'm feeling all right at the moment. Of course, I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. You know, like dance around with the UK flag and like say it's coming home or anything like that. That would be silly. And there definitely isn't a video of that already on Twitter. But yeah, I think we're seeing some of the rougher games from players that I feel like Nico for me is normally the consistent factor within this roster. Yeah. And it allows some of the other players to be a little bit up and down. He's had a rough game, and Testis as well. Like we talk about him being the young man, even though he is technically older than Stown. I think in terms of experience, that's where we really talk about it. But yeah. We'll see if he can come back into this one, because they desperately need, as you said, one of those clutch rounds, something we wanted to see on the other side of things. Crucial. Clearly, Spidey senses are tingling. This is only some pistols. It's a lot of damage from Stown, but unfortunately not a kill. Cadian with the rotation, though. That MP9 spamming through the smoke has done a lot of damage as well. And now the rest of the team are going to rotate through into the market.
Thomas, what a nice frag. Holds it down perfectly. Once again, this has to be a save round for 2 of the players. Nico can try and see if he can get an exit frag, but there's no way he should throw away an M4 and an MP9 in basically a 2v5 retake with no kit. So Nico is hoping to get someone to cross his crosshairs, but it's not going to happen. They're going to go all through the apartments. Might be able to catch 1 here. No, not even that. Endpoint on 13. And remember, Tom,
any further?
They won what, like 16-8 in the second map when they came back yesterday against Mad Lions. History
You're trying to bait me, aren't you?
Has the
You're trying to bait
tendency of
me.
rewriting itself.
I am already fully in the camp of Endpoint, so it's fine. You don't need to try and bait me into saying it. I think I've made my allegiances clear. Of course, it's counted out by your Danish bias, so it definitely works. Together, we are completely unbiased. Here we go, though. Ooh, nice shot from Nico. A switch up to the AUG, a gun that we don't really see too regularly anymore, but started off the round well. And in fact, the rest of Endpoint have actually decided just to switch things up. In the meantime, Max, though, has been able to gain a fair amount of control in middle. He's definitely having a much better game than what we've seen so far, and the timing could be everything, but Cadian, he gains that little bit of information that's enough. Give that spot away. The rest of the team has rotated into ramp, but losing Max is a pretty big deal. Now you just have to try and slow walk out, hope that you hit your shot. Crucial will do just that. With a man at the back of the site having to now be a little bit more careful, you can see Heroic making sure they don't take any risks. They want to play this from after plants, but may not even need to. As Nico has stopped the man crossing and left just 2 remaining. The bomb is going to be planted, and as said, not going to be any risks taken this time. Nice shots from Tessus through the smoke. And now it's left onto this man. The one you'd want in this situation. Crucial to try and clutch. Versus 4, yeah. The nades are going to make things difficult. I don't really see a way out of this one. Molotov pressuring him back. Nade landing as well. It's a save.
Yeah. All right. So it's definitely not over yet, but look at the bank over at Endpoint. Even though they saved the AWP as well, so Crucial is going to be on 13k after buy. They have so much money left. It's going to be 2, maybe even 3, 4 rounds before they have to do even a slight eco. So this is still a good scenario for them. They're like 5 rounds up, 13 rounds, 3 rounds away from taking this to map 3. We're going to still need to see some very crazy plays coming out of Heroic to bring this one back, but now they've shown that it is possible. It is possible for them to get something done on the CT side. They have got the double op set up now. Nico has gone in with the AUG, the special weapon. His trick up the sleeve. And Endpoint, where do you want to go now? Looking like a B-focused play, but bombs still drop towards T-spawn, so everything can still change.
And this was what worried me. This secondary AWP from Stown been something that plenty of teams have struggled against. Again, we're going to see the opening pick, and that was something that Endpoint were doing quite well, was getting a lot of openers in the early stages of this second half, and thus far, we haven't seen the same level. 2 rounds in a row, they've lost that first pick, and look how aggressive we're actually seeing Heroic in middle. This could punish them with Mighty Max already crossed. He may not expect it, though, and Cadian again is going to have his teammates back. Robin just going to wipe peek. There's so many players here. He was trying to save them. Nice shot from Crucial. But there's still so many more, and the bomb's actually stuck at the top of mid. They have to try and aggress to get this back. I don't see a way out of this unless Thomas gets the timing, and he does! I thought he was going to mess that up for a second. It may not matter.
Yeah, this is also a done one. Money's getting honest for Thomas, but still they have the bank of Crucial available to them, so it's not going to be a problem for Endpoint just yet. But Heroic, they're getting some confidence now, and this is the problem when you're getting up to like 13, 14 rounds, and it should mathematically be in the bag. You're allowing your opponents to get a kind of an into the game. And Heroic, they don't need a lot to bring this one back. They're building their own economy now, having the 2 ops saved as well. This could actually go all the way to 30 rounds, Tom. I feel like this could be a 16-14.
Both teams wanting to keep us on the edge of our seat, that's for sure. Still, though, money really isn't an issue, and for Heroic, I think they'll realize at this point they are going to be coming under consistent bombardment. Got that double AWP back in play, and I do wonder if maybe a faster execute could be the right way for Endpoint to get themselves back into this one, as with not only an AUG, but also the 2 AWPs retaking, not going to be the easiest thing in the world. But again, we're going to see the slow default play, maybe expecting more aggression to come out. As of right now, sure, you've got a player peeking into the ramp, but other than that, it's a fairly passive hold. No mid control at all, actually, from either team.
down towards B, but the bomb is towards A. On the back of Robin. It's going to be some early pressure actually coming in from Borb now. He's pushing down towards A ramp off the screen, and he's taking this map control, making sure that, okay, this area is definitely covered. He's right here, and he will be the first line of defense. And this is a particular off angle that you don't like ever flash out. This is something that you don't really expect. You set up your play, and yes, you'll face him. That's a weird smoke, but never mind. Borb is in the corner. They're buying time now. He's definitely showed his hand. He's shown his position, but the time left will be so incredibly low when Endpoint want to execute. They have to rethink it. They have to think, do we want to go B now? Because it doesn't seem like we can get into A. So Real jumps into the window, and that's a big play. And now under pressure will be down. He has to hold 2 angles because there's no rotation coming in. They're coming in with the bomb from B apartments. He switches up his focus.
Oh, they're just going for the block. He might be able to deny it.
That's the denial. That's the denial.
He's done it. Down alone has managed to win this round, and well, not quite clearing the site before going for that plant was such a risk. There wasn't enough time for Endpoint to do that properly. I genuinely thought they had that round after that one surreal kill.
They were so sure. They were so sure it was going to be an over rotation from Heroic that they were going to have maybe a player in market or something. They were not going to have a player on the bomb side, but Stown just hit there, waited and bided his time, and just did it in the end. Nice play from him, but Endpoint must feel kind of bad about that one.
Yeah, that's a painful one to lose. And again, I speak about the second AWP for a reason. That is a crucial play. Now the scoreline slowly drags back for Heroic. Mentioned how Endpoint can struggle a little bit on this T side. That round definitely seemed manic, but they managed to at least get into a winnable position. What is that from Robin, though? See you later, Kadian. The one tap out mid. Surreal's been burnt back, and I believe Robin's actually been tagged as well. So it's definitely not a clean first kill. But as said, over the last few rounds, it's been something they've been missing. I think Stown's also just spotted a player into the back apartments, but that might even just be a bit of bait from Surreal. Show himself into apps, and then the whole team rotate back to A.
Yeah, now the rotation has to come in from Teslas. He has to be the one to rotate into CT spawn or jungle because they have already Nico in mid who can rotate to hold off that connector. Right now, Borb is alone on the side. He has no smoke. He has no backup. And Teslas is coming in due time. I think he'll have time to put in a nade even. Let's wait and see. Yes, this is going to be the money nade. Kobe!
This is rough. Again, 20 seconds on the clock as they look to try and make the play for up. Just holding strong as he drops 3 kills within a space of a second, leaving Crucial alone without any time to play with. He just has to go for the kills, and it's too little too late. He needs both. He needs this last one, but there shouldn't be anybody peeking. And whilst down, even looking to try and close him out, a little bit risky.
Yeah, I would say. Okay. That's why, Tom. When you can hit shots like that, it doesn't matter. Like, you can do stupid shit.
What was that even through?
That makes no sense to me. That sequence, those last 3 seconds, make no sense to me whatsoever from both sides.
Oh, it was through the other wall.
But why would he even challenge? Why would he even present the opportunity? Just even though it's just for a short second and he has to be very quick, like, just run away. Just don't peek him. Timeout will be taken from Endpoint. Crucial has had a great game so far, but they're still only up for 2 rounds, and they've struggled in the last couple of rounds. And the economy is struggling right now for the T side.
Yeah, this is starting to get scary. Endpoint were looking good at 13-7, but it's been a streak of rounds. Nade. Gonna do a little bit of damage. Of course, both teams still on the brink. And again, we go back to what we said on Inferno. A round victory here for Endpoint would be huge. It would leave Heroic still in an awkward spot with Tessus and Nico with no cash. Sure, they've got 3 that could at least get some weaponry, but the loss bonus they once had is gone. Cadian, I think realizing that the window has been taken, is going to fall back and I'll hand the mantle to Nico to hold.
Another swing round here, as you mentioned, because of the economy on Heroic, because of the economy on Endpoint, because we are getting into round number 25 of a map 2 that could potentially be the last map of the series that could eliminate Endpoint if they don't get this Mirage map to go. So this is a very, very, very important round for both teams.
Can you lose hold of this A site as well, Surreal? That's a big jewel to win.
Big oof.
With Barup again. Started his comeback. It's a good start from him initially, and actually they're just going to plant the bomb. They just walked in. He's spraying the wrong angle. It's actually going to be a far more passive position.
Cadian is there, but it's not going to be enough to just go in and try to deny that plan. That's what happens when you have a CT player who's that alone, or at least lacking the tools to come in and deny anything. Molotov to the back default goes down once again in the flank, but they know this by now. Can they sell it? Can they make it happen for the CT players, though? Can this be the irritation? Robin has to come up huge now. He does.
That was almost like shooting off a flare. Down, just pre-firing everything. And Tessus now realizes if he could save this AWP, it would at least be something for the next round. The remaining two, not going to take any risks for Endpoint.
So really even dies. So the money's rough for both teams now.
Yeah, that save, though, does make a big difference. I would like to see a pause here from either side. It's actually going to be Endpoint. I think realizing, of course, that they're so close to giving themselves some life in this series. But I think Heroic might need this as well to talk over how they're going to juggle the weaponry around. I think there'll be one player who has to take the hit. And surprisingly enough, it looks like it's going to be Barup, who... I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that, because over the last few rounds, he has been the mantle defender on this A side. Like, if he dies, it does seem to go drastically wrong. So, and also, not having a weapon is a problem.
Nico is a really good Deagle player as well, so I would actually like to see the switch around as well. To see the M4 going to Barup and the Deagle going to Nico. And we do see the money for both teams. I think it's going to be a drop from Surreal, so... Mac 10, UMP, decent utility on T side, FAMAS, Deagle, and decent utility on the CT side. So it's not a bad buy for both teams, but it's definitely not perfect either. Nico pushing up mid, and this is why he wanted the M4. He wanted to go aggressive. He wanted to take that opening with the flashbang assist from Cadian, and he gets it. It's down now. Interesting angle.
Has been playing relatively aggressive over the last few rounds. Again, timing going to be pretty big. Doesn't know that there's 3 players waiting on the other side, but just as the smoke fades, he does as well. Cadian might take the brunt of it, but instead, he picks off Surreal with the opener. They don't even expect... Oh, what? Messi, what's just happened from Sound? That might be one of the worst sprays of his entire career. Luckily, he's got Cadian to back him up. Robin there to trade. And these are the 2 players you want. Make that just 1. It's not happening this time. Heroic, hold the line. 14-12. The economy now of Endpoint suffers, and I think this might be the first time in a while we have to see them on some pistols.
Yeah, this is going to allow Heroic to get 13, and what a round for Nico. Yes, Cadian is doing a great job. Should have had the third.
Oh, I don't want to see this again.
Yeah, we don't want to see that. But I have to highlight Nico here. He probably makes a call that he has a good spawn. He wants to push out the mid. He wants the weapon. He does that, gets the first one, and then rotates cleverly into the B side when that side is hit as well. So nice 2-kill round from Nico. Good decision making. Now Endpoint, Tech 9's Deagles, and single P to 50. Cadian pressured, but Tessus will help him out. And once again, Cadian and the boys, they're just cleaning house. 14-13, Tom. It comes down to another round. A very important round once again. Endpoint, their economy, they're going to spend every dollar almost. They have a decent loss bonus, we see that, 3,400, but they're spending everything right now. And if they lose this, if we're going to get on 14, and they're going to have money for a semi-bad force buy, unless they save some weapons. So this is not all or nothing yet, but it's getting damn close.
Yeah, they've been the comeback kings in a lot of these matches. They were down very far versus Mad Lions and managed to win. The problem is this time they were the ones in the lead, and it seems like they are beginning to crumble. As I said, I think it was a 13-7 scoreline. The difference now down to just 1. Now, they do have a buy. They're pretty damn perfect one at that. And
this is an interesting position.
Nico might be in some trouble here. They don't actually check out. He's going to get 2. Again, we spoke about him having a quiet first half. It has been night and day into the second, and he wants more. Still standing with Down alongside him. The youngster hits the shot with the AWP and leaves Crucial alone, and the bomb out in the open. He's just waiting for these peaks. It's left all on to Thomas, and he can't do anything. 14-14, the Danish side have grinded back into contention and now sit even with 2 either to go.
The setup in mid is so good because you have, first off, Nico holding his angle, very big off angle. You don't check that when you come out of the connect or out of the underground. The reason why you can do that is because Down is holding the close angle onto mid. The only thing that can kind of break this setup is flashbangs. And we have seen in this series, I think Potter pointed it out in the analyst segment between the first and this map. Endpoint haven't really been very good at utilizing their flashbangs to get kind of into either sites or take map control in the middle of the round. So Heroic, they have the perfect setup in mid. Also, it takes a lot of balls to do that stack, but still, it is the perfect setup. They're up 14, or they're tied 14-14 now. The money is why I'm almost saying they're up, because this buy is not very good from Endpoint. They have 1 AK in Surreal and then Tech-9s. You should fear them, but still, this is an advantage for Heroic, who have currently stacked 3 players towards B, leaving Cadian all alone on A. And that's where the T's are going to hit.
Rush. Yeah. I guess they'll just play retake from this point onwards. If Cadian can get 1 kill, that's all they really need. But this was what I've wanted to see for quite a while from Endpoint. This more execute-heavy style, especially with 2 orbs currently in play. They're looking for all of these flanks, but instead it's actually going to be the jungle spot that's taken away. Lots of grenades going to be expended in that direction, and Tessa's hoping to try and spam through. And the problem is, although they've got the 1 rifle onto Surreal, because there haven't been any players facing, because there haven't been any challenges, there's no real weaponry for Endpoint. They still just got these pistols, which can be deadly, but they're slowly being picked apart. The more aggressive they get, they know they have to try and get the faces in here. Thomas actually still lurking within the smoke, could make things interesting, but they are getting ruined. Heroic are making this retake look so incredibly easy, and Surreal get 1 for his money, but it is now 15 for Heroic. A flawless retake, and well, potentially a 2-0.
Yeah, it was interesting because the last time these 2 teams played each other, that was, of course, before the player break. It was on Mirage as well, and that was Endpoint grinding into an OT, winning 6 out of 7 rounds in the beginning or in the end of the second half. This time around, it's opposite day. Heroic is the team grinding their way back, and they're not just grinding their way back to an OT. They have the chance of now winning the map without an OT, but I think it would be kind of fun to see the OT between these 2 teams. Just to complete the story of the last game also being OT. Surreal though, oh no. Dying off to a nade and some flames. Thomas will be flashed out once again. We just have to credit the flashbang assist from Heroic. It's not just Cadian, it's all the players. They are really, really sure of how to use those flashbangs correctly and get maximum value for money. Cadian with a good nade as well. Nico just has to hold his position, and he will. No smoke, doesn't matter. This is too rough for anyone. There's not much they can do.
Yeah, they are being picked apart. The momentum they had in the early stages of this map has diminished, and Crucial even handed a freebie. He now needs 4 more, and he's almost surrounded. The saving grace is he has the bomb and he has some time, but this would have to be some of the biggest mistakes we've ever seen, and it isn't going to be happening. It is 16-14 in favor of Heroic. The Danes get themselves the job done, and unfortunately for our UK team, the UK Heroes, it is not going to happen today. And, well.
Yeah, the Danes once again grab the victory, Tom, as we usually do over you guys. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Commiserations, though, on a real note to Endpoint. I feel like, and we're here in the Danish national hymn, of course, very nicely done. Good touch, DreamHack. We have to say commiserations and well done to Endpoint, because the analyst said it. They are the surprise team of this tournament, I feel like. They are the team that we expected almost nothing from, but actually did really, really well. They came close to taking Heroic down. They came close to going to a semifinal. But once again, Tom, the best team will prevail. Yeah, they almost beat big, but the best team will prevail. And of course, the best team is always the Danish team. We know it.
We'll see. We'll see when the Germans...
It was a map that would go down to the wire, and for Heroic, they weren't going down without a fight. It was so close, Endpoint could almost taste it, but unfortunately, Heroic would steal the map 16-14 and the series 2-0. The thunderclouds were actually rolling in over here in London, so Potter, maybe I should have seen the downpour coming for Endpoint.
That downpour, it did come, but you know, the first half and even the first half of the second half, it was very close for Endpoint. They did a fantastic job on their T side of things. You know, but in that second half, after losing Pistol Heroic, they lost 5 rounds after that, and sometimes that wiggle room, it is there, but Heroic, you could see that absolutely towards the end, they were so polished. There was not a lot that Endpoint could do, not many holes. Down with that double op towards B, it was honestly the winning recipe for Heroic.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a really good point, is that, you know, we were saying that Endpoint historically kind of struggle maybe on those T sides, but they did put up a pretty decent showing, didn't they, Blair?
Yeah, they did. I mean, how many rounds did they get on that in that first half, right? They did a pretty good job, and also in the second half, it looked like they're about to close it out, mainly because they kept breaking the economy of Heroic, right? They win the pistol round, they win the anti-ecos. It was a little expensive here and there, but 13-7, you got to close it out at that point, boys. You have to close it out, and you give that a little bit of an opening, and you start seeing the mistakes taking place. They were getting hammered down with the utility usage, the aggression from Heroic. You saw that one round they went to the B bomb site, didn't check it, didn't have time. They were forced to make these last-minute decisions, and even there's a round later on, I think it was like 13-14, where they kind of messed up a little bit, and you do that against a Heroic who are waking up and starting hitting all the shots, it's never going to be easy.
Yeah, that's definitely true. You know what? You give Heroic an inch and they'll take a mile indeed. And I kind of want to start to unpick that from the side of Heroic, because as we were saying, it was a very close first half. In your perspective, Potter, what were Heroic doing in that second half that allowed them to kind of close it out?
You know, I gotta point my finger at Cadian. I think in the beginning there, he was the person getting picked off first in a couple of different scenarios, right? So that just made Heroic's defenses a lot more difficult. In the end, though, they did start to polish things up. It did take them quite some time to get back on their feet, but after that they did. I mean, the decision making for this team, as I mentioned, it was so clean. So at the end there, these rounds, it just looked a little bit easier for Heroic.
Yeah, it really did. Obviously, Cadian topping the scoreboard there in terms of ADR, but it was actually Crucial that topped it in terms of kills. He was getting 24 frags to end that series. And I think, you know, on the first half, or the first map rather, you know, we were criticizing him a little bit. It can be very difficult when you're an AWPer on that Inferno. But then coming into Mirage, I feel like Crucial just found his stride again, Blair.
Yeah, he did, and I got to point out, this player has been a player to watch for me, right? Him alongside Robin, but just the sheer consistency that Crucial brings to the table. I think, look, I know they got eliminated, but let's look at how the journey has been so far. They almost 2-0'd big, almost 2-0'd big. They had a great matchup against Mad Lions, coming back from the 0-16, dropping like that, and then of course in this series almost taking map number 2. But they need to get over the barrier, like, you know, you get very, very close, but they're not able to kind of close it out. I don't want to point to any particular players or whatnot, but there is a lack of finesse when it comes to these sort of like clutch situations. We need to close rounds or maps out. And I think given a little bit more time, I think they're getting there. They're almost there. But I think they have the right elements. Crucial, Robin, the 3 Brit boys, they're looking pretty solid.
Yeah, and I think Tom mentioned it during the game. He was talking about how confidence is so key for this squad. And I think going forward, Potter, you know, they can be pretty proud of what they've achieved here. But I'm wondering what you think they kind of need to be working towards going forward.
It's a lot of things, right? Especially on their T side of things. I think they need a second layer, because you could see that a lot of times they were able to get the map control that they wanted. They were running out of time. They didn't have the exact solidified, decisive answer when they got what they were looking for, right? So I think that second layer, it's going to come with time. It's going to come with as a team gels together with that time. So, I mean, they're certainly on the right track. We saw Crucial. It's not easy to just make decisive movements like that, go for constant picks, go for more and risk getting punished. But Crucial made it work on the CT side of things, constantly finding those opening picks and punishing Heroic for maybe approaching it a little too sloppy.
Yeah, and I do want to talk a little bit about, you know, the positives from that side of Heroic. Obviously, we saw them close this series out 2-0. And I think, you know, players that we've talked about a lot, Potter, Nico and Tessus. And really, Nico did have a kind of slow start to this map. But coming into that second half, I feel like he just started to flourish.
He did start to flourish, and it was really as soon as he dropped the AUG, I gotta say. I think this is the first game I've seen Nico picking up the AUG, and maybe he wanted to take advantage of those long distance angles. Maybe he had an insane scrim the other day by picking it up. I don't know, but as soon as he dropped it and picked up an AK or an A4, he was popping off.
He really was indeed. And I think we may have an opportunity to check in. There we go. That's the noise we want to hear. It's going to be Stavin joining us after that incredible win. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Congratulations again on that win, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was fantastic to watch. But I do want to sort of pull it back actually to way earlier in the series, the veto and how it kind of played out. Were you surprised that Endpoint actually picked into Inferno?
Yeah, we were actually really surprised. Like, we didn't expect them to pick that map at all because we have pretty good stats on it. So it was quite a surprise pick from them.
Yeah, and you definitely proved that over the course of that map. But I just want to touch on quickly on Mirage. I think it was at round 26. Endpoint took a pause, and that's when we saw you guys kind of come back from. What were you actually talking about in that moment?
We didn't actually talk that much about it. Like our Mirage CT has been really good in practice, and we just everyone believed that we could do the comeback, and we had the double up setup going on, and everything just worked out. So yeah.
When it comes to Overpass not getting banned out, were you trying to bait them into picking Overpass?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. I'll take that as a yes.
Don, I gotta ask you about that double op setup. I think the last time we spoke with you, you didn't really have the room to be able to pick up an op with the players that were on your lineup. Now we're starting to see you kind of flourish in your role on this heroic lineup. What's that been like for you? Are you starting to feel a lot more comfortable and confident?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've always wanted to play double op. Back when I played in Fragstars, I always played the second op, and I'm really happy that I have the opportunity to do that now on this lineup. So, yeah.
And going forward for you guys, you're going to be heading to the semi-finals, and I believe it's going to be Complexity that you're taking on. What are you going to be doing going into that matchup? Because I feel like the Complexity that we've seen here, they've been looking pretty dominant.
Yeah, I mean, Complexity has been doing pretty good the recent months. We actually played them in Home Sweet Home Cup where we lost. We didn't do that well, but I think that we have a better chance coming up now with better preparation. They had much more time to prepare for us last time, so I think it will be a great match.
It is indeed. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us, and congratulations again on that win.
Thank you.
Always fantastic to get the opportunity to speak to him. And I kind of want to touch upon that match because that's where it kind of leaves us in terms of this bracket. It will be Heroic going up to face Complexity. I'm wondering from you, Blair, I think that's going to be a banger of a series.
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like both the teams, Complexity never really stumbled. They've been looking solid so far in this entire event. Heroic were looking a little rough around the edges. Sure, they had that win over Mad Lions, the loss to Big, and it was again a pretty close loss, but they seem to be kind of growing into this event, right? But you have, for example, this first half you saw against Endpoint, again, taking nothing away from Endpoint. However, Heroic is supposed to win that a little bit more convincingly considering it is their map pick. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be both the teams kind of ramping up, and it's going to be a pretty close affair.
Yeah, what about you, Potter? Are you excited for that one to be going down?
I'm so excited. I do think that Heroic, Complexity are looking so polished, right? It doesn't seem like any of their players are making any mistakes. And this Mirage, it was pretty close for Heroic. So they're certainly going to have to wake up and polish things up to bring their A game versus Complexity.
Well, we're not done with the action here today. It's going to be OG versus Fours after the break. Blair, I just want to get your thoughts upon this because this is going to be another banger.
Oh, this should be fun, especially Fours who hopefully they have some confidence coming in. And look, Russian CIS Counter-Strike is one of my favorites. It makes no sense at times, but goddamn it, it's entertaining.
It is certainly going to be that. And well, I think without further ado, it's time that we delve into that one. But it's going to be coming up after a quick break, and it's going to be another elimination game, no less. This time, it's going to be the Giants of OG taking on the CIS squad of Fours to fight for their tournament life. Who will prevail and who will be going home? Find out after this.